Then I went to Lim Kok Wing because
Ah,
only because I had to because tak ada SPM. So tak boleh nak pergi
faham,
UiTM ke or anything like that. So I'm
faham,
not a
faham.
graduate.
Hai, Assalamualaikum and welcome back to another episode of Lagi Satu Soalan. So, guys, hari ni kita bersama dengan one of the best photographer in Malaysia so far. Kita ada Azim today in the house.
Hello.
Azim is biar Azim lah yang intro diri je.
Okay, so my name is Azim Mahayuddin, and I'm a fashion photographer at AM Studio. So yes.
Alright. So
Simply put lah.
simply put. Azim, so how long have you been in the photography and fashion as a fashion photographer?
Okay, so as a fashion photographer, because I've started in 2015, so that should be around 8 years. Now, yeah, 8 years to date. 8 to 9 years macam tu lah. So yeah, after I started, I finished my studies. I terus go straight like doing like freelancing and like doing my own thing lah with the studios and everything.
Almost 10 years lah.
Almost 10 years. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And still growing and
Still
still
growing.
I think all of us pun, no matter how long we're doing pun, every day is a new challenge, and
Yeah,
every day you learn something new.
Yes, always. I think because like because we're doing it by ourselves. So I rasa there's always something that we always learn. There's something always that we always want to achieve and discover. So again, like I thought I was just gonna doing it by myself, and now like we have a team, and I think you guys too as well. I think like Bart started like doing it by himself, semua kan, and then like suddenly you guys are growing as well. So I think it's really nice to see and like really nice to support each other and like have a platform like this.
Kan?
So I think it's really interesting that we're doing this today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not many people know. Everybody would assume that we compete against each other.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
We
Healthily.
It's a healthy competition. Tapi at the same time, we exchange ideas, we exchange
Betul.
thoughts. We need to bounce back. Who else do we bounce back? Creatives. Siapa lagi
Betul.
nak support each other kalau
Yeah.
each other,
I
kan?
think like what maybe like the audience don't know is that sometimes there's like different sides of like fashion in the fashion industry, but then again like me personally, like, and I think you guys as well, like there's always this dynamic with for example like me and you, or like me and Ba. I think like we DM each other all the time.
Yep.
I think like we communicate with each other all the
Yeah.
time, so there's no beef or anything like that. So macam tengok kerja each other, or like what are they doing now. So macam it's nice to see, and it's nice to know macam kalau diorang dah buat macam ni, kita tak boleh buat macam ni.
Exactly.
So I think
secara tak langsung dia menolong industri juga, so that we don't
Betul.
repeat each other. We don't duplicate something yang macam, so that people out there would receive the same thing. We
Yeah.
always try to make something different, something
Definitely.
beneficial for others.
Yep. And also the industry
Exactly.
that we're in
Exactly.
right now, yeah.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? How many siblings do you have? Tell us a bit more about yourself.
So let's start with the family lah.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest of 5.
Okay, ramai.
Yeah. So the age gap between me and like my siblings is actually quite big. So macam my brother above me is like 6 years above.
Okay.
So they kind of like grew up by themselves in a way. So macam I just like being like the last child, and like I was the only one like in school for a while, so I was like really focusing on my studies and all that lah. But then I think like not a lot of people know sebenarnya macam I actually grew up in Brunei. Like I don't grow up here.
I see.
So I don't have PMR ke SPM ke and all that. So memang since because my siblings are older, so my parents are naturally a lot older. So basically when I was 9, my father already retired. So
Okay.
he was already 60 by then. So there was like a lot of pressure on me like to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So bila dia dah macam retired tu, macam dah tak boleh cari kerja kat sini. So somehow he's a lecturer. So bila macam lecturer, you nak mengajar lagi, macam bila dah tua macam susah.
Yeah.
But somehow in the field that he's in, bila dia apply kat Brunei dapat, but like on a contractual basis lah.
Understood.
So we never had that guarantee of how long my dad is going to have a job. So kind of like living on the edge like every 3 years. So macam dapat sama contract ke tak. So I was just like all of my siblings like stayed here.
Okay.
So I was like, from being the last child, I kind of like grew up being like kind of the only child in a way. So macam dorang dah nak habis sekolah kat sini, sekolah menengah dah nak habis dah semua. So my parents and I like migrated to Brunei. And
just
then,
you and your parents je?
Just the three of us. Sebab
yang
macam
lain
I yang
tinggal
paling
kat
kecil.
KL?
So yes, yang lain semua tinggal kat KL. So itu macam that was like an out there punya experience, like thinking back about it. Macam my parents berani jugalah nak tinggalkan anak dia semua kat sini, tak tahu melia ke benda ke kan. But I was like, okay, tak apa, I terpaksa ikut je lah. Because I was like 9, literally macam time tu dah 2 nak masuk dah 3 something like that. So bila sekolah tu my dad dah start working dah and everything semua, and then I started sekolah rendah. I sekolah dekat sekolah kebangsaan diorang lah. So memang cakap Brunei semua. I was like the only Malaysian there, being kind of like the outcast a little bit.
How was how was it like there? Like what's the key difference or main difference between that culture and here?
I mean,
the culture there and here.
Honestly, like a lot but not so much pun difference sebenarnya. Just that macam, I don't know whether you've been to Brunei.
No, I've never had the chance.
But there's nothing much there pun sebenarnya, especially when I was there in 2000. So we migrated like in 2000. And then time tu macam mall pun tak ada sangat. So macam dia a little bit ke belakang sikit lah compared to us. At that time. So macam there's not a lot of entertainment. But then when I was like in school, yelah naturally lah, bila you seorang je macam pelik sikit kan, tiba-tiba macam you tak boleh cakap Brunei. And then apa,
can you still speak it though?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people yang macam yang kalau yang studies overseas kan, bila dah balik Malaysia 3-4 tahun kan, it's just like nope.
No. But I was like lucky in the way that macam sekolah rendah, I memang sekolah government.
I see.
So I had to like adapt, and thankfully macam masih kecil lagi, macam lidah you lembut lagi.
Betul.
So you kind of like boleh adapt lah. You kind of have to blend in. Takkanlah nak cakap Melayu, nak cakap biasa, tiba-tiba macam diorang
because it was not a
Brunei.
private school or international school. It was a local government school kan.
Until sekolah menengah baru I masuk private school.
I see.
So then that's like the English comes in lah. But then masa sekolah rendah tu memang I had to adapt. So literally macam diorang halau I balik lah Malaysia, macam don't go here. So I got that lah. I got that when I was in primary school. So and then I guess like I stood out lah in a way. But then I had to adapt a little bit. So macam okay lah, I learned the language a little bit here and there, like how it goes there. So macam and it was okay, it was fine until dah habis apa dia panggil, dia bukan UPSR, dia ada nama dia, I lupa dah nama dia. But yeah, so macam I did
standard 6 punya examination
exam lah. So I did that, and then after that baru masuk international school. So the only reason because like I have to establish macam university macam tak pun sebenarnya. The only reason how I got in is that macam my dad actually taught in the government punya university. Okay. So it was subsidized by a lot. So it's like one of the broke kids in the international school. Because everybody macam ada drivers, ada baby and all that. And I was like, that's my dad.
I have
it's
one
only my
level,
dad picks me up.
I got one level higher. I got my dad picking me up. If you switch it around, you look okay. Instead of a driver picking me up, I have my dad picking me up.
But yeah, so that's how like we got around lah. So masa I think dari form 1 sampai form 5 lah. Basically like I went to international school, and then I think like knowing that in terms of macam creativity, like if we're speaking of like in the creative industry and all that, I think I discovered like early on that I actually really like art, and I've always wanted to do something with arts. But I never knew like macam what it's going to be. Like I never knew it was going to be photography in the first place, because I think we deal with traditional art quite a lot. Drawings and all that. So masa sekolah rendah tu pun dah start melukis dah. Orang dah tahu that I can draw. Even macam in primary 1 dari tadi kan semua dah tahu dah. But then like I really got to explore masa sekolah menengah lah kot. So macam baru we played a lot with like a lot of mediums with like paintings and like pastels and all that. So macam that's how I discovered like I really wanted to do something with arts.
Going back to your study life, where did you go to uni?
Okay, so after I finished my high school in Brunei, I think that was already like 8 to 9 years in. Over like since we started migrating to Brunei. So macam by that time I think my dad was already, he could be already like 70 plus. So he was like old. So macam he's old. So macam tak tahu whether like he's able to do more a little bit. So macam I did my O levels. I was like still contemplating macam nak stay for A levels ke tak, which is equivalent to SPM lah. So macam nak stay ke tak, that's like another 2 years. So macam takut tak sambung kontrak dah ke. So macam tak apalah. So I moved back. So macam bila I dah lepas sekolah tu, barulah macam I pindah balik to Malaysia.
So that was
in 2009.
2009
I think around 2009 2010 macam tu. Then I went to Lim Kok Wing. Only because I had to because tak ada SPM. So tak boleh nak pergi ITM or anything like that. So I'm not a graduate. So memang tak ada kalau you postgraduate then boleh.
Right.
So you cannot enter from my knowledge lah. But again, to be honest, bila I masuk Malaysia macam I came in blind. Like I don't know macam the process of like getting in unis, or like we didn't go to, because I don't have like that guidance about macam my siblings pun ada yang pergi uni, ada yang tak. So kalau ada pun macam they're far ahead, yang macam they don't bother to help pun. So macam I faham. So tak apa, I need to figure this out myself. Tapi macam my brother-in-law actually recommended to masuk Lim Kok Wing because like it was more art centric, art focused than like a lot of other universities back then. So I apply lah. I apply, and then bila dah dapat tu then I did my diploma there.
What did you major in?
That was in graphic design.
Okay.
Initially multimedia, but then like the multimedia class was a bit boring. So macam I sorry. So pada time tu macam tak tahulah kenapa katnya kan I saw sebab masa kita kan ada foundation year.
Yeah, correct.
So macam we mixed up with like the graphic student, the multimedia students and the fashion students. So macam bila dah mingle around tu macam graphic students macam lagi best je kan. Macam nak masuk kelas graphic lah macam tu. So I went in graphic, but it was honestly one of the best decisions that I made lah. Sebab macam bila I see my multimedia punya friends yang buat, macam that wasn't the things that I wanted to do anyway. It's like, there's a lot with macam motion graphics lah and like filming and all that. Macam no, macam tak kot, I'm not like into this. So macam bila I buat graphic tu, I was like actually kind of into it lah. But then I think like the last year of diploma tu macam you have a choice of like elective kan. So that's when I chose photography, and I was like so bila dah start photography tu, I was like okay, this is exactly what I want to do. Sebab I think I recognize very early macam masa high school actually. Sebab masa sekolah menengah macam there's a time rasanya masa form 3 or form 4 you get to choose you punya electives. For us, there was like 3. So, I knew back then, it was like so specific. Macam I knew back then that I wanted to do something with art. And then I know that I'm not going to do things traditionally because that was going to be hard because I don't have any background. So, I know that I was going to do things with technology. So, macam I ambil IT. And then I know that I'm going to do business. So, I ambil business. So I stayed with those 3 things, macam surprisingly until now. So bila I dah buat photography tu, I was like, okay, these are the 3 things that I was like exactly looking for, that I was like, I couldn't really find it. So macam, okay, when I found, I was like, okay, yes. Just that specifically what type of photography tu I haven't found yet, because I was I think like we were artists, macam all about self-expression and all that. So I wanted to find art lah. So I think that was like closest to heart kan. And then as I was doing it, masih intern pun macam tak jumpa pun like find out photographer or anything like that. So I intern dekat like a wedding photography studio. time tu masa I intern tu, I tak tahu you pernah dengar ke tak, Avicenna Studio. They were like in Bangi. I was like back then jugalah. I don't know whether they're still around or not ish, maybe, I don't know.
I'm not. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought Avicenna was just a
Kalau you
hospital.
tanya, yeah, that was like before the hospital.
Before the hospital. Maybe they closed down the wedding thing and built the hospital.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
So macam I did that. And then even back then, point time tu, that was in 2011, 2012, 2011.
Okay.
Time tu, ada tahu dah nama bar. Like fun fact. So macam time tu memang I dah kenal, at that time there was like a rising punya batch of like wedding photographers that are like more indie. So time tu ada Bart, time tu Afnan Omar. Those are the names that I've heard lah. So I kind of like reference masih shoot wedding lah. But as I was interning, I was like, I'm not doing wedding. I was not born to do this.
As much as people say, wedding is the easiest market to tap in the creative industry, it takes a toll.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
Takes a toll on
your
you.
body and on your mind.
It's not as simple as people think it is.
It's not. It really is not. It's about I think there's what people don't understand is that there's like different types of creatives as well.
Correct.
So macam there's a type of yang macam maybe who loves weddings is just like who loves doing things so macam on the go, very macam loves spontaneous punya moments and capture all of that. Macam yes, that's for some people. I'm a planner. Macam I tak boleh. I did macam if I miss that one moment, I was like I'm too anxious about that. Memang sometimes like it gets predictable lah kan. Macam when you do a lot of weddings, I think there's like susunan in that wedding.
Betul.
You know what's going to happen next.
Betul.
But then at the same time,
sometimes
like,
it's just something.
Something's
gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen, and it's just like you deal with normal people. Yeah, macam there's a lot of kerana. I was like, I'm not into this. I cannot do this. There's too much pressure on me. And plus, like I was looking at my portfolio as well, going back to like all the weddings punya stuff. Macam I'm not meant to do this. So I finished my diploma like knowing the fact that I'm not doing events or like weddings and all that. So moving on to degree, memang again lepas buat diploma sebab you're not a graduate yet. Sebab until you get a degree kan. So I tak tahu nak sambung kat mana. So and then nak cepat. The only reason why is that I habis high school awal. But I think in Brunei it was you're 16 and not 18.
Betul.
So I finished at 16.
Yeah. Selalu kalau yang if you mentioned just now, you mentioned you planning to take O levels or A levels. Usually people take that more 17. So you maybe finish.
So I finished at 16. I finished at 16, and then again like it's the Brunei punya government that's like doing really really good to us lah. To be honest, sebab macam my dad dia boleh dapat subsidi tu until their child is 21. So I have until 21 to kind of like study like macam okay, I can go a little bit more macam in terms of the fees tu macam boleh a little bit higher because like we get that subsidy. Which is like a good thing. Macam it was like half kot if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
So macam when I calculate, bila I habis degree, I akan habis degree at 21. So I terus sambung je lah. So I sambung je. So I sambung my degree, and then time tu baru macam I was opened up to like different scopes of like photography. So yang macam photojournalism and like fine art and commercial and fashion. So when I did all of that, I was like, okay, fashion is my thing. I'm going to do fashion because I macam dah tahu dah nampak dah benda tu. It's like this is the thing that I really want to do, and then it just like it blossomed into all of this.
Your degree major was in photography.
In photography, so from graphic design to photography, and then I
major in
fashion and commercial. And minor in commercial.
Actually, because our Ispun was Lee Kok Wing.
Yeah, he's my junior.
So I'm not sure what he majored in. I don't know if it was commercial.
I think it might have been fashion as well because like one of our peers, Fakas and Jars. He's my lecturer.
Yes, he was.
Dia punya lecturer juga.
Betul.
So I didn't know until because I think after I finished dah habis macam I think a year or two, and then baru dia ada.
Betul.
So after that, baru I tahu kemudian benda tu.
Does it
Small
feel weird now, having to work with a lecturer?
No, it's not, because like, I think like a lot of people know siapa yang macam pernah jumpa together, like between I dengan Faizal. I call him sir until now. So macam memang I panggil memang sir. Macam kenapa panggil sir? Macam he was my lecturer.
Yeah.
And I have so much love for Sir Faizal, because like he's the one that exposed me, because he majored in fashion photography as well. Like he did in UiTM and all that. So when he opened me up to a lot of possibilities on what you can do with fashion photography. So macam I never wanting to like stop working with him or like meet him, or like macam sometimes time dah sambung belajar after that ke, ataupun macam dah kerja pun macam I still want to meet him and all that. Macam lepak-lepak je lah, because like, macam some of my friends pun ada jumpa dia juga, and I'll still keep in touch lah. And then I never thought it would like again like blossomed into like macam us being peers and like working together. It's not weird at all. For me, it's not weird. Like, I don't know if it.
I don't know because some I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the same. I keep in touch with all my lecturers. Not all lah. Some of my lecturers. We occasionally call each other. Come pergi have a drink jap. Kat kedai mamak. Then we just talk about work, talk about stuff. Walaupun tak adalah in the same industry sangat, but it's just I don't see anything wrong with it. Just as usual. Some people macam serius kau lepak dengan lecturer. Apa salahnya, dia pun orang juga. But yes, sampai sekarang I panggil my lecturer sir. Sampai ada satu time tu I message my lecturer, sir, nak pergi minum tak? Kau tak payahlah panggil aku sir lagi. Kita dah habis sekolah. Tak boleh. I cannot. I say the amount of stuff.
All the time.
Yeah, the amount of stuff you have taught me during my uni days. As a teacher, as an educator, I respect you so much that I don't think so I can call you anything else. It feels very weird for me to call you by your first name. Because you were my teacher. But it's nice to hear stories.
Because literally macam kan I started like by myself with the studio and everything kan. Macam he already started doing props for me and all. Macam for a while dah actually. I think back in 2018, 2019 dah. Macam dia dah started dah. So macam time tu dia tengah buat terrariums and all that. So bila time tu macam ada start panggil sir and all that, until like my whole team panggil dia sir. Macam janganlah panggil je lah Echal, panggil je lah Faizal, panggil je lah Echal. Macam no. I'm not gonna do anything.
That's not gonna roll out of my tongue that easily.
No. Until like my whole team panggil dia sir. Macam sir ni sir tu. So macam tak ada pun, nobody like calls him from like by his first name. Macam everybody call him sir. So yeah.
Okay, so all this happened during your uni days. So I suppose my next question would have been, what was the time or what was the moment you realized that you were gonna do this full time?
Okay, so I think like especially when we're doing business, they're going in the industry at 21 because I finished uni and macam terus kind of start menganggur sekejap, freelance sekejap and all that, but I started at 21, 22 macam tu, like going in with zero knowledge. I think there's nobody macam none of my family is doing business, none of my family is in the creative industry. So going in blind with like no acquaintances ataupun yalah kita tak kenal sesiapa, with no background whatsoever, just like macam tak apalah kita buat je fashion kan, macam kita berangan je lah kan. So going in macam we don't have any assurance of like whether we're going to do this for a while. So I think bila I dah buat tu, bila I buka studio, rent like a small space and all that, macam slowly buying equipment. Still, again, macam I don't know whether I'm going to do this full time or not. But then, the good thing is that masa I dekat Lengkok Wing tu, I've shot with the fashion faculty for I think like a semester or two. So I built kind of like a relationship with them as well. And then I cuba lah apply kerja. Ingatkan macam nak jadi lah lecturer kan. Macam with a degree you can like teach diploma students, especially with private schools ni macam senang sikit nak dapat. So I applied tapi dekat under my faculty, sebab itu yang ada photography punya programs. And then I applied, I tunggu 6 bulan tu tak dapat. And then suddenly my parents was like, okay, you need to do something. Macam, okay, why not just like open a studio, macam try things out. Sebab time tu my sister cuba untuk jual tudung. So macam dia pun macam need somebody macam buka je lah studio ni semua kan, cakap macam senang je, tapi saya tak apalah, I cuba handle lah kan. Thankfully macam yang this part, I think if some people know, some people don't know, but I'm really grateful that my parents were like supportive, skeptical but supportive.
Yeah. As all parents
usually are with a child that is creative. So macam they contributed macam in the capital side lah. A little bit just so that I can like get started a little bit. So macam I spent, I think like 3/4 of like what they gave me, and then macam the rest tu I buat simpanan. And then that's like the end of that 6 months lah basically. So macam I dah sign agreement and all that, macam okay dah nak buka studio. And then bila I buka je, tiba-tiba I got the job offer to be a lecturer dekat Lengkok Wing lah basically, under the fashion punya faculty. So time tu I macam alamak, macam mana ni kan.
I invested everything
yeah. But then I was like, okay, I have like to be to think creatively on like how I want to solve this like, because okay, they want me to do a job, but then at the same time I have this business. I like be transparent with them that I'm actually opening a studio, so I can do it, but I can only do it part time, so that I can dapat gaji, but at the same dapat tanggung diri I, and then at the same time I can do jobs as well. So I started like that. I started like that for like a year. And then I was like, okay, I can get things going like this. But I think some things happened at work that wasn't really in my favor. So I macam tak apa, I nak keluar. And then I sambung master. So masa sambung master tu pun macam you dapat ada dapat duit sikit here and there sebab jadi assistant lecturer for like 1 or 2 semesters, but dia 3 semesters je kan masa master. So it was a lot easier. So I was kind of like surviving off of that situation lah. So that's like 2.5 to 3 years of like going back and forth doing the studio and then like teaching and then studying. Time tu memang nangis dalam shower tu memang macam banyak kali lah. Macam aku nak buat apa dengan hidup ni, the struggles memang time tu memang hassle lah. And I was like doing it by myself still.
Right.
So memang time tu pun dah start macam build sets. Tapi kecil-kecil je lah time tu sebab people weren't open to that idea yet kan. Because it was like really early on in the fashion photography punya scene in modest punya section. So masa saya dah buat tu memang stress dia, memang tak boleh buat bincang lah. Time tu kadang-kadang ada off season, aku nak survive macam mana ni, nak makan apa ni kan. Lepas tu time busy raya tu alhamdulillah. So things were going macam ups and downs macam tu. Until like macam bila dah habis the 3rd year in like opening my studio, I was like, okay, I think I want to do this full time. That was a moment macam bila I habis my master after I graduated, I was like, I want to give this a go. If not, again I have a master, so macam I can teach.
Continue.
So that was the plan B lah. Macam always going with like plan A, plan B. Sebab macam you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you have demand, sometimes you don't have demand. Until now pun macam I think all of us are very anxious about like what's going to happen in the future, whether like we still have demand. Ada lagi korang nak kita dah tua ke? Kita dah It's the constant struggle yang macam that I don't think we're ever going to get over it. Tapi macam it's a lot calmer now, but then at the same time the anxiety is still there lah.
Which brings me to my next question. How do you stay relevant for the past 8 to 10 years, almost 10 years ni, 8 to 9 years ni? How do you manage to stay relevant and keep up with this ongoing trend yang sangat-sangat laju, and with new photographers coming into the industry as well? How do you keep up? How do you keep up with it?
That would be like the hardest thing tau. Sebab okay lah, because like when I was coming in, like bila buka studio tu, I think that was in 2015. So backstory, like to the people who didn't like get a chance to observe how the modest wear punya industry back in 2015, the problem that I noticed is that time tu ramai orang shoot catalog. So macam there's a lot of studios yang macam shoot background play. Beli backdrop je lah macam tu kan. Macam even I myself pun macam beli backdrop je lah kita shoot. So macam I came in the industry with an intention that I kind of want to change that a little bit. Macam kita macam make a ripple of like try to create something a little bit more different. So and then I kind of like go off of that, and it kind of like snowballed into like one good thing to another. I guess about when we start to do something a little bit different, and then like other people macam you start to stand out.
Yeah.
So that formula kind of like followed through until now lah kot.
Betul.
Macam try to do something more creative, try to do something a little bit more innovative, try to do something a little bit more unique and different to what other people are doing. Sebab tu macam bila orang dah buat ni, kita tak nak dah buat macam tu. Or sometimes like people are referencing this, takkan kita nak reference the same thing juga. I think that's how for I guess to stay relevant ataupun to stay different from other people. I think that's my method. Tapi I think a lot of people are struggling on like how to be different. It gets a little bit redundant, but at the same time, those are the people that appreciate our work. So that we cannot really macam complain or like deny yelah merungut ke pasal benda-benda tu.
Betul.
Yes, macam sometimes we can be like that, macam lagilah aku nak buat ni kan, asyik buat ni je, asyik buat tu je kan, but at the same time cannot, tak boleh macam so the best solution that we have is just like discovering macam apa lagi kita boleh buat sebenarnya. What else we can do? Correct. Creatively, because that's in our power. The rest is not.
Betul.
Whoever we attract is not
betul.
much in our power lah.
Betul. Alright, my God, there's so much good insight, so much great. So okay, we're gonna take a short break. Kita akan main game sikit dengan Azim, and when we come back, we're gonna have some final words from him. Guys, let's play a game. Okay, welcome to the game section of Lagi Satu Soalan. Azim, we're going to play some quick fire rounds.
Alright.
Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Alright, let's go. Question number 1. Would you be able to want to have the power to read minds or see the future?
See the future.
Would you rather dress formally or casually?
Formally.
Do you prefer sleeping late or waking up early?
Waking up early.
Camping or glamping?
Camping, I guess.
If you could learn any skill instantly, what would it be?
Any skill instantly? Oh gosh. I guess to dance.
I'm sure, dear. No. Can't you already dance?
Not enough.
Come on.
I want to match my wife's skill.
Okay, Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
What was the last thing you saw on Netflix?
What was it? I cannot remember. It was probably like a movie, like an old movie. I don't know. Maybe like not old movie. Maybe it was Pitch Perfect or something. I rewatched it.
City life or countryside?
Realistically, city life, but countryside.
Countryside.
Yeah.
What was the best countryside you've been to?
I mean, I recently went to Switzerland.
How
so
is
there's
it?
a lot of countryside.
There's a lot of countryside there. Great. Americano or latte?
Latte.
Last thing you bought?
Last thing I bought, probably something on Shopee.
Do you often online shop, or do you prefer physical shopping?
Physical shop, surprisingly.
Describe your style in 3 words.
Ooh, colorful. Colorful and I want to say fun, but that's kind of like the same thing. Colorful, fun, and maybe something oversized.
Okay. If you could travel back in time, what era would you visit?
Ooh, I would love to be a kid in 2000s again.
Are you the type to still write on a paper or pen, or now digital notes?
Digital notes.
Oh, okay. Do you prefer call or text?
Call. Sorry, I'm that kind of guy. I annoy people with my calls.
Would you rather live in a world without music or a world without art?
Oh, so hard. A world without art. Oh no, that's so painful to, to say.
Pet peeve.
Ooh, I don't have anything. What's my pet peeve? You know when something, oh, you know when people eat loud? I do that, but that's like my pet peeve on myself. But then, yeah, when people eat loud,
Biggest fear.
not knowing. I guess like not knowing what's going to happen in the future is the anxiety speaking.
Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Oh, can I have both?
Yes, you can have both. You can have both. Now, would you rather have a rewind button for your life or a pause button?
Right now, pause.
Just to get some rest.
Yeah, just to get some rest.
Just to get some rest.
It's nice to rest.
Okay, final question.
Yes.
Gun to your head. To save your life,
Okay.
you need to call a person, but that person cannot pick up the phone. Who would it be?
No, cannot. Oh, what's the point?
To save your life, that person cannot reply your message or pick up your phone call.
No, that will be my wife.
Because she doesn't reply or pick up the phone.
Probably she's probably busy something.
All right, thank you so much, Azim. Let's get
Thank
back
you.
to the final part of the podcast. All right, and we're back from the game session. Okay, Azim, sedikit kata-kata akhir sebelum kata-kata akhir. My question is, do you have a mentor or someone you look up to in the industry?
Oh no. Okay. I think someone who I look up to. I mean, like, I have a lot of macam references who are macam I really look at fashion photographers and all that kan. Macam I have again, if you're speaking of mentors, it would be again Sir Faizal macam kita cakap tu. I think he taught me a lot in terms of what to do. But then again, when I interned masa dekat during my degree, I interned dekat Blue Ink, which is no longer around.
Yeah.
After COVID and all that. But then when I interned there, I learned a lot from the photographers there. So I think those are kind of like my mentors. But I especially learned a lot time tu kenal Edmund tak? Edmund Lee. So macam he deals a lot with
names are familiar.
with like fashion and magazines and all that lah. He shoots for like glam and like glam lelaki and all that. So I learned a lot from him in terms of lighting exploration, because we learned banyak benda yang macam very fixed, macam front light, top light, and all that very very simple stuff lah, but never really get to explore into so much of fashion photography on what you can do and what you can gain. So bila dia letak lighting itu time tu pun I think I was 20. I think I was around 20, and then he's I think around 28 or something like that. And then he's already like macam placing all the lights that's like, oh, those lights are not supposed to go there. These lights are not supposed to go here. So when he started
definitely like breaking the rules
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. It's breaking a lot of rules. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, there's a lot of possibilities on what I can do. So I was like happy about that, knowing that we can break the rules. Then there's like so many ways of breaking the rules as well. So that's who I looked up to initially lah. But then after a while being in the industry, there's like a lot more photographers yang macam Chiwi and Aaron and all these people that are doing really well, and Yipi Yaya as well with Chuan Lui, who are really doing well in the fashion industry. It's about, again, I think when we're speaking of like how important references are, I think it's important to find references. Again, itu yang dalam Malaysia lah.
Betul.
That we look up to, that's like closer to us. Of course, there's a lot more references out there that we refer to kan. But again, the references are important to set you punya particular style ataupun you punya taste in photography as well. Sebab kalau you tak ada all those references, then it's harder for you to develop in ways that are different to other photographers that are in your circle ataupun in your industry, specifically in like the modest wear punya industry. So yeah, those are my references and my mentors and like who I look up to.
Nice. Okay, betul. You can always break the rules, but guys, understand the rules
Yeah, understand
first.
the rules.
Don't just simply break them just because you see other people doing it. You must understand the limitations. Bila you know, you try to follow the rules, tapi kalau adjust sikit ni lagi cantik tapi dia tak mengikut peraturan, tapi tak apa.
Yeah.
It's okay, but you understand that that's breaking the rule, then that's fine. But if you don't understand what you're doing, then you're just eyeballing it. Maybe you need to take a step back and look back about how your method is to in order to find your identity. In your style, in your taste. Great. Okay, so second last question of the day is, if you could go back in time and give a piece of advice or tell something to 19-year-old, 20-year-old Azim, what would it be?
Oh no. Okay. I was stressing out a lot. Back then, I'm just like an anxious person. I'll just like tell myself to calm down. It's gonna be okay. But I know my 19-year-old self wouldn't listen to myself because I'm too stubborn. So, but then like I think that would be like my best advice, because I think like seeing up until now, like seeing how our lives are, like my life is going. I think alhamdulillah, it's been going good. It's been going great. So I don't have much complaints, to be honest. But then at the same time, I feel like I'm doing a lot of things kind of right. But then without those mistakes, without those lessons that you learn along the way, you wouldn't grow. Without all those frustrations and like all those anxieties. So it works for me. But then at the same time, I would tell myself to calm down. Still not calming down.
Okay, so to the audience out there, to young creators out there who is maybe some baru nak masuk dalam industri, baru fresh out of school, ataupun someone yang nak bertukar bidang, what would you advise to them in building up themselves in this industry, in this media, fashion, photography industry?
Okay, so whoever who wants like to enter, like especially because I see a lot of students, I see a lot of very this exciting and like even excited young generations yang macam aku tua sangat je, tak tua tau. So macam all this younger generations that really want to do this, be like in the editorial, fashion and all that. Yes, you can do that, but then at the same time, be realistic. You have to set an expectation. I think other than just like speaking to people, of course, like, you need to speak to people. You need to know the industry a little bit here and there, get a taste of it, socialize a little bit, kan? Once you get to do that, once you get a taste, if you still want to do it, I think like there's a need to understand the time that you have to spend, because like going creatively, especially in like fashion photography, there's not a lot of itu so macam money, I guess, initially. So just be prepared mentally of how it's going to happen. Just be prepared that you're going to be struggling for a while. Not like, sebulan struggle, tak. No, so it's gonna be like years of it. I think like creating a business ataupun just like building your own name as well. So just be mentally prepared for that. But then at the same time, creatively just think of something, find something that you can do and pinpoint something that you can do that is kind of different from everybody else. Not really, I want to do like something completely never been done. No, everything has been done. Like everything has been done already. There's nothing like that's not been done.
That era of nothing has been done has passed.
It's been thought of.
If
it's not being thought of, it's already been done. So just like be mindful of that so that you don't set your expectation too high on yourself, because of course lah, as like macam aku dah ada degree tu, final project ni macam best gila, macam mesti semua orang industri nampak, macam no, macam really macam don't set yourself up too high.
Betul.
So that you gonna be prepared a little bit of macam disappointment and like lessons that you learn along the way.
Definitely.
So when you already have that expectation going in, then you know what kind of, like I said, like a ripple. Like you're not trying to make a splash. You're only trying to make a ripple so that people notice you first, and then it goes and it's gonna grow. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. The more people you know, the more opportunities that you're going to have.
Yep.
So get to know people. Find a unique, specific thing that you can do and contribute in the industry, and just take time. Take time. Yeah. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have privilege for that. But be mindful and be prepared. Like if you really want to do this, you really need to take the time and be smart about it. Yeah.
Betul, sangat betul. A lot of people nowadays, they want to see results as fast as possible.
Especially now.
Yeah, but the truth that matters is it's going to take time. It's going to take
A lot of
years of trial and error,
Yeah.
of ups and downs for you to even find your own style, to find your own identity.
That's another thing. That's a whole another conversation.
That's a whole another conversation. It's going to take a while, and if you rush into it, you're gonna end up being burned out,
Betul.
and you think that this is too hard. Padahal boleh buat, but sometimes you just have to be patient about it. InsyaAllah rezeki tu akan sampai. Guys, it has been such a fruitful conversation with Azim today. Thank you so much for spending your time.
Thank you too.
Today with us. Guys, if you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below. If you guys want us to interview one of your favorite photographers or business owners or individuals, also leave a comment down below. Inshallah, we'll try to make it happen. Don't forget to like and follow us on don't forget to like and follow us on our social medias at Studio Lagi Satu on Instagram and TikTok. Minta maaf, kita tak ada Facebook. Kita
I don't too. AM Studio pun tak ada Facebook.
Kita tak ada
sorry.
Facebook. But also follow AM Studio on Instagram and
TikTok.
on TikTok juga.
Recently.
Diorang ada TikTok sekarang. Hopefully our conversation has been beneficial for you guys. Siapa yang maybe had doubts, questions, or just wanted to know more, hopefully this has been a very insightful thing for you guys to listen. Guys, inshallah, see you in another episode. Assalamualaikum.
Bye.
Bye-bye.